Ayahuasca's healing potential for PTSD has been covered all over the mainstream media, places like BBC, Men's Health, Forbes, CNN, NBC, and many more. In this video, we'll highlight one veteran's powerful healing journey and dig into how ayahuasca is being used to treat PTSD, the scientific evidence backing this, and much more. But first, take a second to like and subscribe. We have amazing content coming out all the time about the rapidly evolving psychedelic space. So let's go ahead and take a look at Keith Abraham's story. Keith Abraham was an elite paratrooper for the British military in Afghanistan. In his own words, he joined the military to hunt down bad guys. He wanted to make the world a better place, and he had no idea what the trauma of war would do to his life. When he returned home, he was wrecked with oppressive grief and heavy depression. His hair fell out in his sleep, he was constantly on edge, sweat pouring from his hands and face while at a new, cushy office job. He was perpetually tense and nothing seemed to calm him down. SSRIs made him feel worse. He didn't know what to do. And so with nothing else to lose, he flew to the Peruvian Amazon to try ayahuasca. In these ceremonies, he relieved his traumatic experiences with inner guidance from ayahuasca, helping him repattern his emotional reactions. And he came back a changed man. Now he works with an organization called Heroic Hearts that helps veterans get access to psychedelic therapies. You can check out the link in the description if you want to know more about their work. So with that story as a primer, let's dig a little bit deeper. It's easy to talk about PTSD as a mental health condition, but that doesn't really convey the pain and sorrow and gravity of the situation. PTSD destroys lives. It makes you a stranger to your own life. It turns you into a shell of the person that you know yourself to be, no longer able to function in society. And our current treatments for it are slow, difficult, and not very effective. Between 30 to 50% of all cases end up classified as treatment resistant, which is the language the medical establishment uses to tell people, sorry, but you're on your own. And this is tragic. It's also where psychedelics like ayahuasca can be so transformational. Ayahuasca is an entheogenic brew or tea made from the caapi vine and viridis leaf. It is used in traditional ceremonies among the indigenous tribes of Amazonia. It contains DMT, a powerful psychedelic, as well as an MAOI, notably beta-carboline, which works synergistically with DMT to produce a long-lasting psychedelic experience. Traditional ayahuasca healing ceremonies have recently become more popular among Westerners, leading to an increase in the appearance of ayahuasca retreats. These retreats allow people far removed from the traditional lifestyle the opportunity to receive the benefits of ayahuasca, the healing from that, and the new beginnings that result. As the ancient brew comes more into the limelight, we may see it become a widespread and accepted form of psychedelic therapy. So how can ayahuasca help with PTSD? There's incredible new research coming out showing how ayahuasca can help with PTSD. The first study is a 2018 study that found that ayahuasca decreased activity in the amygdala, which is the brain's fear and anxiety center. That means when someone re-experiences traumatic events in an ayahuasca ceremony, they can do so without the feeling of overwhelming fear. It helps them to repattern the reactions to these experiences. Study number 2. A study published in 2022 in the journal Psychopharmacology examined the effects of ayahuasca on fear extinction. Fear extinction is a psychoneurological process where individuals learn to associate a previously feared stimulus with safety. This is one of the core conventional therapies for PTSD. A therapist helps you to go back to a traumatic experience and slowly change your reaction to it. With a lot of time, the experience loses its charge and stops haunting your life. The problem is that it takes a really long time. So in this study, they looked at what happened with ayahuasca, and they found that ayahuasca significantly removed the association of fear from the traumatic memory. The people could still remember everything, they just didn't have a big, overwhelming fear response. And this is so healing for someone with PTSD. Study number 3. A third study in the journal Frontiers in Pharmacology looked at the effects of ayahuasca on PTSD in 28 people. participants experienced a significant reduction in PTSD symptoms, including suicidality, anxiety, and depressions. And these results were only with a single session of ayahuasca. Okay, so a brief recap. We talked about Keith Abraham and his healing journey with going to the Peruvian to seek out ayahuasca. We talked about how ayahuasca dampens the fear response in the amygdala. It allows us to repattern our triggers and reactions. And we also discussed the process of fear extinction. The therapeutic mechanism of ayahuasca comes from the catharsis. It comes from the confrontation. It comes from the facing of these traumatic experiences. And when these experiences are faced and confronted and integrated, there can be an incredible healing that results. So if you're someone who's interested in working with ayahuasca, if you're looking for a retreat center to go to, if you're looking for someone like a practitioner or a therapist to work with, be sure to check out Third Wave's directory at thethirdwave.co/directory. There's a list of vetted and verified practitioners and centers that you can work with on that link. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The psychedelic space is evolving every day, and we have a ton of amazing content that's coming out, and subscribing is the best way to keep up to date with all of that great content.